Transmitting.
Hey, Cruz, I heard only the words, but I'm transmitting. Do you want to increase power or antennas and try again?
Down to 50 watts.
I think I heard 50 watts.
Yeah, I get the repeater times from this location tonight, but I think
Okay, I think I heard you say that you were on Echolink, but you could hit the repeater location sometimes. Shoot, I'm standing in the kitchen trying to put a bird to bed. Yeah, that would be rough.
IMCOMnet, second Monday at 7 p.m., W5FCC.
ZL.
Hey Brenda, was that you?
Yes, it was. Now it's no signal tonight.
Could you count from maybe 20 or 10?
Seven. ZL.
Oh.
Tonight and NCS.
I didn't get that. Do you want to try maybe on Echolink chat? Maybe oh yeah, I've got that pulled up.
What area? Echo.
Mr. Chairman, I need to make it very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
Like be in control of the sky, right?
That's correct, sir.
Skynet.
Brent, if you can do 222488 or 442075, I can link those. Otherwise, I think we may have to get a backup next roll.
Tony, let's go. Maybe 50 ZL.
Ouch. Tom, if you can fill in, then it's your time. Otherwise, give it a try. I can at least start, although I can't stay.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Let me know if there's a problem with the signal, okay?
Roger.
Okay, this is Kilo Echo 5, India Charlie X-ray. I'm going to be the next control to see. You may have limited check-in. Because the signal is so terrible. So, you get through. I'll read. Nobody can unfortunately. So, here we go. India Charlie X-ray, man. Your next control. Net call setter at 9 a.m. Concerning the subject of astronomy and our purpose to help amateurs become familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky astronomy in general. This net topic this net station here and enter the net. Now use the code sign break from your call sign. I'll ask, but is there any emergency or party traffic at this time? This is directed net, therefore please transmit without from net control. That would be muted this evening, and remind to die at the end of your transmission. Net operates on the 346.880 second via X echolink are also possible, although they seem to be easy. You can use the W5FC-R90 or echolink 037 and 247. Article online, go to the club website, which is .org. And remember to tell us about the net. All amateur operators are welcome. You can be a member of any radio club to participate. This net is into the general announcement to Astronomy events, topic, space exploration space.
Net.
K5P to KKE5CX.
Hey Bernie,
In light of the circumstances, I would like to offer the services of 1146.96 for the nets this evening. I could throw that into net mode. You could run it there because 80 is terrible right now.
Alright, how about we do it, you want to come back and let me know when you're ready?
Okay, give me one moment. I'll throw it in net mode and let you know.
Alright, very good, thank you. So, meanwhile, Bernie does that. We're going to go ahead and move over to a different frequency here in a couple of minutes. 14.96 should have a PL tone of 110 as well. You'll be able to check in. Hopefully you can switch over to that frequency over 2 meters. Any check-ins at this point, we'll do that. But we're planning this to move to 116.96. That's the DPR repeater, I believe. We'll see how that goes.
K5ICX, K5BP, 6 is in net mode, ready to go.
Alright, very good. Let's here, I got more than one I gotta do. Everyone, go over at 6.9646. See there.
Okay, folks, in case you didn't get that, this net moving over to 146.96, the Dallas reader. 146.96 is our new net frequency. I hope you can make the change. Please join me over there. 146.96 PL to 110.9. And then this is T5TM on, oh, the number's turned up to 11. Skynet has moved over to 144696. Probably the Afterglow movies moved over there too. Again, everybody remember the USET has moved to 14696 beyond 110.9. Hey friends, Skynet has moved to 14669 because of repeater problems here. Everyone, you switch over to 14696, PL tone 110.9. Hey, ham radio friends, take note. We've moved the net over to 14696, the Dallas repeater, W5DCR, 146.996. Go there, PL tone 110.9. Hey, Skynet's happening 146.96. Go over there. PL tone 110.9, NT5 TTM. Hey, everybody, we're having it at 146.960, PL tone 110.9. Please join us over there, NT5TM. everybody. We're listening to Skynet on 146.9 PL tone 1.9. Hop over there. We're having a lot of fun. NT5TM.
DC mobile, and I'll be clear on your final. All right, sir, it was good meeting you, and
Thank you.
local children. And we have a lot of food and a lot of fun. So, Gus, W5GUS, and his wife Julie were there. And Brent's there, as his wife Virginia. Let's see, any other hands? I think the other thing we did during the meeting was the channel at the ABC affiliated station here, local station, as every year. And we've been collecting these toys for a number of years, every Christmas. And we did 35 toys, I believe. And delivered one of our chapter can run out on TV. Along with other people there, when they were bringing the presents there to the station. For next month, our meeting in January will be the second Wednesday of January. However, I won't be there. Society tour of the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And the dates are from my device space. You know, we are helpless without our smart device these days. The dates for this tour are January the 12th to the 14th. 14th. So we'll be there and not at the National Space Society meeting on the 14th. And people that are not Space Society members can also attend. There's an extra fee. It's cheaper to do the National Space Society than it is to pay your fee. Things, including the one 30 minutes. CEE@BYROM.net. Or you can use my AR4 address, N5BB@RRL.net. That's all. N5B. Thank you, Tom.
Very good news, Mr.
disabled. Lid detected.
Membranes of all known terrestrial life and is part of a molecule that helps carry energy. Now, at 1,000 days on Mars, the mission traversed an ancient river and lakes, collecting valuable samples along the way. Jezero crater is 2020 land site. The image of Mars's Jezero crater is overlaid with mineral data detected from orbit. The green color represents carbonates, minerals that form in watery environments with conditions that might be favorable, preserving signs of sufficient life. As Perseverance is currently exploring the green area above Jezero's center. The objective for Perseverance mission on Mars is astrobiology, including the search finds of ancient material life. Rover will characterize the planet's geology and past climate, pave the way for human exploration of the red planet, be the first man to collect and cache Martian rock and regolith, which is rock and dust. Subsequent NASA missions in cooperation with ESA, which sent spacecraft to Mars to collect these sealed samples from the surface and return to Earth for end analysis. The Mars 20 Perseverance mission is part of the NASA Moon to Mars exploration approach, which includes Artemis missions that will help prepare for human exploration of the red planet. JPL, which is managed by NASA by Caltech in Pasadena, California, built and managed operations for the Perseverance rover. All right. Any more check count? Okay, next up, Chaz, K-I-J-A-H, and he's going to tell us what's up. Go ahead, Chaz.
Thank you, thank you, everyone. Bernie and Tom and that was involved. All the next thing switched over. Oh, yeah, I think St. Tony did. All right, Slide Master, I don't know if we're doing the video, but slide master slide number one if we're doing. This is Chad AF5JHA. Week's segment of Skynet was up because it's all about what's going on astronomically over a couple of weeks. Slide number two, and was new on December the 12th. So the current phases of the moon is a waxing crescent. I thought this evening that was really nice. The moon's first quarter will be on December the 19th, few days. Full moon is on December the 26th, yep, the day after Christmas. On January the 1st, the moon is at apogee, which is the moon's orbit the furthest from the Earth. It is distance of 404,909 kilometers. On January the 3rd, the moon is the third quarter. On January the 11th, the moon is new. On January 13th, the moon is at perigee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth, at a distance of 363,267 kilometers. Slide master, slide number 3. On December the 17th, that's tomorrow, the moon and Saturn conjunction in the southwestern evening sky. It's not very bright right now, but yeah, with the moon next to it, should be able to find it. Slide master, slide number 4. December the 18th, the planet Venus and Ganubi, I like to call that name of that star, are in conjunction in the southeastern morning sky. I just like to say Jupiter Ganubi. It's a star in the constellation of Libra. Slide master number 5. Later that day, in the evening of December 18th, there's a conjunction of the moon, Saturn, and Neptune. You need to have a good star and a telescope to observe the planet Venus. Slide master, slide number 6. On December 19th, 20th, December minus meteor shower peaks. The meteor shower will have around a half dozen meters per hour just before dawn. You can get more information about meteors and meteor showers at the International Meteor Organization at IMO.net and the American Meteor Society at ammeteors.org. Slide number 7. On December the 21st, the moon and Jupiter will be in conjunction in the evening sky, and they're nearly overhead. Jupiter's that bright almost overhead in the evening sky. Slide master, slide number 8. On December 21st, 22nd, the Ursa meteor shower peaks. This meteor shower can have about a dozen meteors per hour just before dawn, but occasionally it can produce as many as 1 meteor every minute. Once again, you can get the information from IMO.net, amsmeteors.org. Master, slide number 9. On December the 27th, the moon, Jupiter, and Uranus will be in conjunction evening sky. They're nearly overhead. You'll need a pair of binoculars and a telescope to observe the planet Uranus. I've seen it through binoculars before. It's much more impressive through telescope. Slide master number 10. On December the 27th, there's a Mercury will be in conjunction in the east-southeastern morning sky. It will be in twilight, so you only need a pair of binoculars to see them. Slide number 11. Remember that we've got another solar eclipse coming up in about 4 months. A solar eclipse is when the moon is in between the Earth and the sun. We're very lucky people on the Earth watch all of the sun from our field of view. Slide number 12, please. On April the 8th, 2024, is that total solar eclipse for here in North Texas. From the Brookhaven campus, the sun will be completely blocked out for around 3 minutes and 20 seconds between 1:41 and 1:14 p.m. That would be called daylight. During that time, called today, you'll be able to see the stars in the sky just if it were evening time. It doesn't get completely dark, but it gets pretty dark. The next total solar eclipse after that, visible over North Texas, will be until the year 2377, July the 9th. So this total eclipse on April is a very big deal, since it only happens about once every 300 years in North America. Oh, I say in North Texas, excuse me, not North America. All the downtown hotels have already been booked for the last couple of for this eclipse. Wow. This is 5JJ, and this is Skynet. Slide master number 13. Running short on time because we've started late. Skip slide number 13. Let's slide number 14. Do any of you out there and have any questions or need a fill on any of the information? Or maybe you have a general astronomy question. Come now with your call sign. Have a question or need a fill. November 5, Tanker Mike. Well, that's Mr. Tony. What's your question, or what's the fill you need? Well, actually, I didn't need a fill. I'm just taking advantage of your generosity. I'd like to let everyone out there that if you're having trouble on 1069, you can also listen to this net on 442-075. That's 442-075 with a PI code of 11.99. I really appreciate the warnings. I need to order eclipse glasses early because it's going to be long gone. By the time the eclipse gets here, I want to have to give out to my neighbors. NT5TM. Honey, and I think to order some for your family and friends as well. So very good. Slide number 15, please. So as the moon waned last week, so do these words for the segment of Skynet. Stay safe, keep well. Pray for our world. And when where humans live, well, live at the moment. And until next time, well, I'll be doing another segment on Skynet in a few minutes. Keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is the KFJHA. Back to our original Neko. Brenda, it's all back to you.
Thank you, Az. Do we have any more check now?
KJ5 BIS, Kilo Juliet 5, Bravo India Sierra.
Kilo Juliet 5, Bravo India Sierra. Your name, please?
The name is Mark, and I'm in Old Easy Steps.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for checking in. All right, next, space exploration and space history. Gonna call on Kelly, K55KX now. Go ahead, Kelly.
This is KTX. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's catch up on International Space Station tomorrow research. Bring food aboard the International Space Station is one of the many research investigations ripe for duration space flight missions to the Moon and Mars. NASA astronaut Frank Rubio recently shared the saucy story of two raw tomatoes, which he had accidentally lost track of while harvesting for the exposed Rudon test system, or X experiment, conducted aboard the space station in 2022. The experiment uses hydroponic and aeroponic techniques to grow plants without soil or other growth media and could provide suitable solutions for plant systems needed for future space exploration missions. While celebrating the space station's 25th anniversary of operations, Expedition 70 crew revealed that they found the lost tomatoes, joking that Rubio did not eat the tomatoes as they suspected. Despite being nearly a year after the initial disappearance of the tomatoes, fruit found in a plastic bag, dehydrated and slightly fished. Other than discoloration, it had no visible microbial or fungal growth. Also conducted an appealing experiment for the veg study, which helps address the need for continuous fresh food production system. Dwarf potato, focusing on the impact of light quality fertilizer on fruit production, microbial food safety, nutritional value, and taste acceptability by the crew. While the rogue tomatoes found from the experiment will not be returning to Earth, analysis as they were discarded, plant research aboard space continues with Plant Habitat 03 returning to Earth during the upcoming splashdown of Space's 29th resupply mission. Plant Habitat 03 is one of the first multi-generational plant studies aboard the space station, which could help researchers assess whether genetic adaptations in one generation of plants grown in space can transfer next. Results from the study could help identify genetic elements that increase the ability of plant spaceflight, providing insight into how to grow repeated generations of crops to provide food and other services on future space missions. The benefits of growing plants in space don't stop there. Astronauts report there are psychological benefits to the time spent in guard, increasing their quality of life in space, boosting their morale. Space history for this past week, beginning with December 11th, 1972. 50 years ago, the Apollo 13 lunar module Challenger touched down on the lunar surface, making last human moon landing to date. Astronauts Gene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt would perform 3 moonwalks over the course of their 5-hour stay on the surface. Thanks to electric-powered lunar roving vehicle, or LRV, they also traveled around 22 miles. As far as 4.6 miles from the lunar module. On the 10th stage of Apollo 17 lunar module, the astronauts left behind a plaque that reads, "Here completed his first exploration of the moon, December 1972 AD, spirit of peace, and we came be reflected in the lives of all mankind." December the 11th, just one year ago, 22, Orion spacecraft from Artemis 1 mission entered the Earth's atmosphere and splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. The mission aimed to certify Orion and the Space Launch System for crew flights beginning Artemis 2, which is scheduled to be crewed lunar by maybe in late 2024 or first quarter of 2025. Artemis 1 launched on November 16, 2022 from Launch Complex 9B at Kennedy Space Center. The 12, back in 1961, the first Oscar Phase 1 M satellite was launched back with Discovery 6. A enthusiast in California for Project Oscar and persuaded the United Air Force to replace ballast on the Agena upstage with the 0.5 kilogram Oscar 1 package. The satellite was box-shaped with a single monopole and antenna and powered. The 140 milliwatt transmitter on board discharged its batteries after 3 weeks. 170 amateurs and 28 countries receiving simple high Morse code signals, the VHF 2-meter band, 144.983 MHz until January 1st, 1962. Oscar 1 re-entered the atmosphere January 31st, 1962, after 312 revolutions. The observations provided important information on radio propagation through the atmosphere, the spacecraft orbit, and some thermal satellite design. Oscar 1 led to the creation of the Amateur Sat Corporation, or AMSAT, in 1969. November 13th, 1993, Spatial Endeavour landed after completing SES-61, first Hubble Space Telescope Repair Mission. This flight was one of the most challenging and complex missions ever attempted. During a record 5 back-to-back spacewalks totaling 35 hours and 28 minutes, two teams of astronauts successfully completed servicing Hubble. One of the primary servicing goals was to install new solar arrays to the telescope. This was accomplished by astronauts Kath Morton and Tom Akers during the second extravehicular activity of the mission. After 9 days, the Hubble Space Telescope was redeployed. K5KTX for Skynet, December 14, 2009. The Wide Infrared Explorer WISE Astronomy satellite launched. Designed to conduct an all-sky survey at infrared frequencies of 3.4, 4.12, and 2 microns, detecting objects 100 times fainter than previous satellites. The primary instrument is a 40-centimeter telescope cooled to 12 Kelvin by a cryostat filled with solid hydrogen. WISE discovered dozens of minor planets and numerous star clusters. After its hydrogen coolant depleted, the satellite was into hibernation mode. In August of 2013, NASA announced it would reactivate the WISE telescope for a new mission called NEOWISE to search for asteroids that could collide with Earth. The mission was then reactivated on December 13th, 10 years ago, in 2013. As of September 23, NEOWISE is 60% through the 20th coverage of the full sky at the start of the reactivated mission. Approximately 1.45 million in-bed measurements have been made of over 44,000 different solar system objects, including 3,000 near-Earth objects and 25 comets. The spacecraft is expected to become unusable in early 25 and eventually re-enter the atmosphere. NEOWISE's replacement, next generation NEO-Surveyor, is scheduled to launch in 2027 or 2028 and will greatly expand on what we have learned and continue to learn from NEOWISE. September 15th, back in 1965, Jimmy 6A launched with astronauts Wally Schirra and Ron Stafford. This mission was originally scheduled to launch October 1965 to make the first in-space rendezvous. Their goal was to put the Agena target vehicle. However, the Agena did not make it to orbit. So Gemini 6 was reassigned to launch after Gemini 7 and rendezvous with it instead. The A was added to their mission note designating alternate plans. They would be able to dock. They could practice this rendezvous and close maneuvering. After a hair-raised launch aboard on December 12th, Schirra and Stafford finally launched on December 15th. They successfully rendezvoused with Gemini 7, and the craft circled each other for 5 hours and 19 minutes over 3.5 orbits. The 6 returned to Earth the next day. This was the first full rendezvous of 2 crewed spacecraft. Celebrating birthdays for astronauts this past week, beginning December the 11th, 1975, in Cisco, or Frank Rio, who was part of Expedition 67-68, and the first American to reach over a year in space, and he currently holds the record for the longest space flight. December the 12th, 1951, Stephen Hawley, Space Shuttle missions STS-41D, STS-61C, 31, 82, and 93. December the 12th, 1964, Japan, Space Shuttle missions STS-124 and 132. December 14th, 1930, Robert Parker, Space Shuttle missions STS-9 and 35. And finally, also on December 14th, 1960, Katie Coleman, who is C5ZTSH, and she was part of Space Shuttle mission STS-73 and 93, and part of Expedition 20 and 2021. And that's all I've got. All right, this is K5KTX. Back to you, Brenda.
Thank you, Kelly. Do we have any more check-ins now? Okay, we're going to call on Chaz again, KFJHJ, who's going to present Miss Carolyn's constellation of the week. Go ahead, Chaz.
You once again, Brenda. And I just realized that the 14696 repeater is what we use as primary repeater for turkey trot. I knew I'd been on it recently, but my HT told me so. Miss Carolyn, slide master, slide number 6. Miss Carolyn's constellation week is named in honor of Silent Carolyn, KC550ZE. Carolyn contributed to Skynet each week, almost beginning in 2012 until May of 2019, with a detailed look at one particular constellation each week. Those are about 52 easily visible constellations seen in Texas throughout the year out of the 88 total number constellations. Miss Carolyn covered the sky seen over north in a year. In her honor, we've continued that tradition of a constellation per week and named the segment after her. Miss Carolyn's constellation of the week this week is actually a twofer: Pisces the fish and Cetus the sea monster. A constellation. The constellation of Pisces the fishes, so known as the fish, because fish and fishes are both plural fish, is based upon a Roman myth about Venus and her son Cupid. Venus and Cupid are known as the African Eros in the Greek mythology. In the story, briefly retold by Cornelius in his book Star-Lord Handbook, Venus and Cupid were startled by the monster typhoon. Venus knew that they escaped by water. She grabbed Cupid and they plunged into the sea. They were transformed into fishes to ensure that they did not lose each other, hide themselves together with Lord and in heaven weaken the mother and the son and the word that binds them love. Oh, it's a love story. Slide master, slide number 18. The most important part of Skynet are the jokes of the week. Here they come. So why do fish get bad grades? Because they're always below sea level. What do you call fish with 2 legs? Tunny fish. The tunny fish. Why don't fish like playing basketball? Because they're terrified of nets. So a group of whales that play music. An orca. What do they eat for lunch? Fish and chips. You have to be careful how you say that. How do you get 2 whales in a car? Well, you first England and then drive west. Get it? Okay, people living west is for whales. And this is KF5J, this is Skynet. Slide number 18. Alsha is a nickname for cord, refers to the cord that ties the 2 fish together. Rish is a binary star whose members shine at 4.2 and 5.2 magnitude, and an orbital period of 730 years. The system is about 100 light years away. It is the double bit of a challenge is that the 2 stars are 1.8 arc seconds apart. The stars continue to get closer until around the year 20C, the time periastron. That's a new crossword puzzle word, isn't it? Periastron. Pisces number 1. Quoting from the Spectrum article, this system is a pair of blue-white stars, both about magnitude 5 or so. They are separately about 30 arc seconds, making this an easy split with even a small telescope. Zeta Piscium. And Burnham's handbook describes Zeta Pisces as a fine, easy double star located virtually ecliptic. The earliest record of the binary star was William Herschel in 1781. There's no change in the position of its 2 components, and even though the population studies show the 2 stars to be a physical pair. There's some color contrast between the two. There's one displays as a lilac color, and the other one a nice pale yellow. Sidemaster Cyber 19. Messy object number 74 is the only messy object Pisces. M74 is a fine example of a large fixed spiral galaxy. However, it is often referred as the most difficult of all the messy objects because of its low surface brightness. Spread over a relatively large area, about 10 arc minutes. Stephen James Amir has nicknamed M74 the Phantom. It requires a dark, moonless sky to find because the light pollution and moonlight completely overwhelm it. In addition to dark skies, good transparency helps immensely in both M74 and trying to see any detail in it. Slide number 20. Astronomical texts refer to Cetus sea monsters. They call it a whale. Most of the mythology associated with Cetus as it is a sea monster and is best known as a monster sent by Poseidon to devour Andromeda, chained to the rocks by the sea as punishment for the vanity of his mother, Cassiopeia. This has a happy ending. Andromeda is rescued by Perseus, flying back of the winged Odysseus. However, it must be known that the conflict Cetus was also known as the Leviathan, or sea monster, by ancient Chaldeans and Babylonians, long before the time of the Greek myths. Slide Masters, slide 21, please. Talk about a few stars in Cetus. Omicron Ceti, also known as Myra, which means wonderful, the famous variable star. Astronomer David Fiberici also noticed it and observed it dating from 1596 until 1609, and its true nature ascertained by an observer in 1638, making the observation and brightness estimate of Myra and the first established record of intrinsically variable star. Perseus, known as the variable star since ancient times. But we now know that it's like eclipsing binary. It's not a true variable star. Myra is the true variable star to be recognized as such. Myra varies from a maximum magnitude of 3.4 to a minimum of 3.9. 9.3. And usually it's been seen to be as much as 3.4 magnitude, and sometimes slightly dimmer than 9.3. The average of about 331 days. But this is subject of extreme irregularity. Sometimes it goes several years below naked eye brightness. Myra is about 220 light years from our solar system. It's an M-type red star. Myra is a binary star system. It has a faint blue sub-dwarf companion that orbits around it. Star is its variable changing 10th of 12th magnitude and back over time. Star, also known as Alpha Ceti, is depicted as the sea monster and whale. Mencar is also located in the monster open jaws. In spite of this, the Arabic name Mencar means nose. Okay. Mencar is a red-orange star shining at magnitude 2.5. It's about 150 light-years away. Mencar forms the wide visual double star of a fifth magnitude star, 93 Ceti, low 15 arc minutes. The color contrast makes a beautiful sight binoculars or a low-powered telescope. Slide Master, slide number 22, please. M77 is a spiral galaxy, otherwise known as NGC 68. Burnham's Celestial Handbook notes that it is the chief member of a small group of galaxies known as NGC 55, 1073, 1087, and 1090. which would make an interesting group target for owners of large atmosphere wide field and light buckets. Further, that M77 is an unusual system containing at least 3 distinct sets of spiral arms. Wow, interesting. Slide master, slide number 23. Is a planetary nebula known as a Skull Nebula. It's really large and bright planetary, and Dave Hutchinson said it can be easily spotted in an 8-inch cast. Mr. Keppel and Mr. Sanders notes in the Night Sky Observer's Guide confirm this, and with much more detail showing if you look at it with 12 to 14 instruments. The nebula shines at magnitude 10.9 and is a bit of 4 arc minutes under. So it is definitely not a class of planetary materials so small that they look like stars. But this is a little bit larger. And this is KF5JH, and this is Skynet. Slide master, sir. Slide number 24. A few more Astronomical League observing program objects in the constellation of Pisces, Cetus, and Cetus Cima. I've given you a sampling of a few objects. The Astronomical League has, at last count, 77 different observing programs. Most of them have about 100 objects. So if you observe 10 different objects in an observing program each month, then you can earn an observing certificate and a pen in about a year from the Astronomical League. Slide master, slide 95. And that is Ms. Carolyn's constellations of the week, Pisces, Dishes, and Cetus Monster. I want to thank my friends Dave Hutchinson and Sarwell for their research and words on deep objects that I use, borrowed and steal for every net. I also at times use site constellation-guide.com for information. Now next week on December 23rd, the eve of Christmas Eve, I think I said that right, the eve of Christmas Eve, my plan is not to present Was Up nor Constellation Week, but instead to do what is becoming an annual edition, the Star of Bethlehem. What was that star in the sky so long ago? We'll take a look at the Star of Bethlehem from an astronomical point of view. I believe that our net control, Billy, also has some Christmas special too. So this week will be a Christmas edition of Skynet. This is KF5JJ. Seeing it back to our net control. 73 to 1. Have a great night.
Thank you, Chaz. Next up, Tom, KV5ICX, will tell us about 6 launches for this week. Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Brendan. This is KV5ICX. Well, let's see. We've got tomorrow evening, December 17th, Starlink 6-34 launch from SLC-40, Cape Canaveral. The Falcon rocket will launch another batch, second generation Starlink V2 mini internet satellite. 9 first stage boosters due to land on drone ship. Shortfall of gravitas in the Atlantic Ocean. Next, have to be determined Sarah 2 and 3 launch from SLC-4E at Vandenberg Space in California. V2 satellites with passive synthetic aperture radar reflectors from the German military. That one's new. Obzon 3 will launch from SC-40 at Cape Canaveral. The Falcon 9 will launch delayed small synchronous geostationary satellite for the Swedish broadband internet service Obzon. Then we have December 8th, another Falcon 9 launch of Starlink-9. This one, Vandenberg, SLC-E. Will be another batch of 21 Starlink Internet satellites from Space Launch Complex 4E. The mission includes 6 satellites equipped to provide a cell phone cover. Falcon 9's first stage booster will land on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you in the Pacific Ocean.
December 28th, 28th overnight, 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, USS F-52 will launch from Kennedy Space Center at Launch Complex 39A. The Falcon Heavy rocket will launch the USS F-52 for the U.S. Space Force. Falcon Heavy, which is the experimental X-37B orbital test vehicle on this mission. This will be the seventh flight of spacecraft on a mission also known as OTV-7. This will be the first launch of the X-37B using a Falcon Heavy rocket. There's a 10-minute launch window for this mission. It is launch Alliance's Vulcan Star rocket that will launch from SO-41 at Cape Canaveral. It's an inaugural flight with the Peregrine commercial lander Astrobotic. Peregrine robotic lander will carry multiple experiments, scientific instruments, and tech demo payloads for NASA and their customers. The mission will also launch 2 prototype satellites for Amazon Kuiper broadband constellation. Falcon Centaur rocket will fly in the VC-2S configuration with GEM 6860XL solid rocketers, a short-length payload fairing, and 2 RL rockets on the our upper stage. And overnight, January 9th and 10th, the Axiom mission will launch on a Falcon 9 rocket. This will be the Crew Dragon spacecraft on its program's 13th flight with astronauts. The commercial mission, managed by Axiom Space, is commanded by former NASA astronauts. Passengers, including a representative of the Turkish Space Agency, are expected to also fly a 2-week commercial mission to the International Space Station. The first stager will return to Landing Zone 1 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Next up, I only have a few more. Will the launch of Falcon 9 from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy. This will be the IM mission of the NOPC lander built and owned by Intuitive Machines. IM-1 will attempt to deliver a suite of payloads to the surface of the moon for NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. We have on January 29th, Falcon 9 N-20 mission. This will launch SOC-40 at Cape Canaveral. The Northrop Grumman's 21st Cygnus cargo freighter on the 20th operational cargo delivery to the International Space Station. The mission is known as NG-20. The launch vehicle for this mission was Northrop Grumman's Antares 230 Plus hit to SpaceX Falcon 9 after Russian invasion of Ukraine ended engine and booster production for the Antares program. And finally, to be determined, the Atlas V USS F-51 mission. This will be launched from SOC-1, Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This Atlas V rocket, designated AV-101, will launch USS F-51 mission for the U.S. Space Force. This mission will launch undisclosed payload for the military. And that's it, Miss Brenda. That's what I got for you. KEP-5 IC expect net control.
Thank you very much, Tom. Do we have any check now? Okay, running a little short time, but we're not yet. I have an article here from Science Daily.com entitled "Scientists Measure the Distance to Stars by Their Music." So I might be part of this article. Possibly planets or distant suns, or even entire galaxies located billions of light years away. Just what you're looking at depends on how far it is from Earth. The exact distance to celestial objects is an important goal for astronomers and one of the biggest challenges they're currently tackling. It was with this in mind that the European Space Agency launched the Gaia mission 10 years ago. Data collected by the Gaia satellite were opening up a window into the inner universe, providing astronomic measurements such as position, of the Earth's movement on nearly 2 million stars. At EPFL, the standard candles and distances research group headed by Professor Richard Anderson is aiming to measure the current expansion of the universe and sees Gaia as a valuable tool. Gaia is by a factor of 10,000 number of stars whose parallaxes are measured thanks to a massive gain in accuracy over its predecessor, ESA Hipparcos mission, he says. Today, scientists use parallaxes to calculate the distance to stars. This method involves measuring parallax angles with the help of the satellite to form a triangulation between Gaia's location in space, the Sun, and the star in question. The further away a star, the more difficult measurement because parallax gets smaller the larger the distance. Despite the resounding success of Gaia, the measurement of parallax is complex, and there remain all systematic effects that be checked and corrected in order for Gaia parallaxes to exist their full potential. This is what scientists from EPFL and the University of Bologna in Italy have been working on. The calculations performed on over 2,000 oscillating red giant stars. The biggest sample is the most accurate measurements to date. We measured the biases by comparing the parallaxes reported by satellite with parallaxes of the same stars that we used astroscience, says Maya Khan, a scientist in Anderson's research group and the author of a study today in astronomy and astrophysics. In the same way, geologists study the Earth's structure using earthquakes. Astronomers used astroscience, specifically stars' vibration oscillations, to glean information about their physical properties. Stellar oscillations are measured as tiny variations in light intensity translated into waves, giving rise to a frequency of oscillations. The frequency spectrum lets us determine how far away a star is, enabling us to obtain astroseismic parallaxes, says Khan. In our study, we listened to the music of a vast number of stars, some of them 15,000 light years away. Turn sounds into measurements. The research team started with a simple fact: the speed with which sound waves propagate across space depends on the temperature and density of the star's interior. Analyzing the frequency spectrum of stellar oscillations, we can estimate the size of a star much. You can identify the size of a musical instrument by the count it makes. Think of the difference in pitch between a violin and cello, says Andrea Biglio, a full professor at the University of Bologna's Department of Physics and Astronomy Studies third author. Not much more, but I think we're going to stop out there. It's already 10:25. Tom, did you want to talk about visible satellite passages over the next days, KE5ICX?
Yeah, Brenda, I can do that. Let me go ahead and give you access and TN We'll call it a night. This is KE5CX. The International Space Station has several passes that are pretty good. Now, let me see here. We have, scroll back up here, December 16th. There are two passes. The better one is -3 magnitude at 6:50 a.m. It reaches highest point 50 degrees at 6:54. Fall to the north at 6:67. December 17th, flying day. We have 3.67 magnitude, 6:02 a.m. as the west reaches high point at 79 degrees, 6:05. Fall to the northeast at 6:088, again in May. Next is Tiangong, the Chinese station, which has three tachs on board currently, I believe. We have a couple of passes here. December 16th, -2.1 magnitude is the best one. This is at 6:36 a.m. out of the southwest. West reaches highest point at 6:39. At 58 degrees and falls to the northeast at 6:42. December 18th, the next best pass. That one's minus 1.5 magnitude at 6:11 a.m. This one's coming out of shadow, so be at 34 degrees when we see it. It reaches highest point at 36 at 12, and it'll fall to the northeast at 15. Let's see here. I got a typo. Let me figure out which one this is. Here it is. December 18th, 1.5 altitude. It's 11 a.m. Oh, I read that one. Okay, so I just had typo and then repeated this thing twice. Okay, Brenda, back to you. KE55CX.
Tonight we had 18 heads participating on air. That's all who checked in this evening. I hope you'll join us next week and every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. On this net, the sky is never the limit. We are always looking for health stations for this and all other DARC nets. If you would like to try your hand at this, contact Net Calls by sending an email to nets@w5c.org. You can follow talks and discussion about this net and astronomy in general on Facebook and Twitter. It's audio and video streams, video archives, and other internet resources by going to w5c.org at the conclude this net. Until next Thursday night, this is W50ZL. Brenda, I'll be closing at 10:29 a.m. local time. I'm reaching repeaters normal amateur use. So we have Afterglow Net coming up next time. What time are we going to start?
So we'll take about a 5-minute break and start up at 10:35. E5ICCX.
Thank you. 73, everybody, and enjoy the evening discovery of the universe. W5ZL. You on a bit?
W5ECR.
All right, it's to get started. This is AE55IC, Sound Beer Net Control Stations this evening. First, I'd like to thank the Dallas County REACT folks for allowing us to use the W5DCR repeater this evening, as it is currently having some sort of technical issues. Thank you, Bertie and 55BP, for helping us out using and setting up the repeater use this evening. So tonight's movie that we'll be discussing here on this repeater is Flight to Mars, which is from 1950. Oh, and by the way, just mind everyone. As I just did, we will have to bring a carrier or drop carrier about every minute or so. I think is about how long it takes. So please do that so that we don't get a bozo alert and repeater. There is a timer on this repeater, so we have to drop it, just like during any other normal repeat operation. So here we go. I'm going to read you the synopsis of the Flight to Mars, and then we'll get started with our critique of this film. This was from 1951. It was a Cincolor science fiction film produced by Marish for Monogram Pictures, not Records, Pictures. I don't know if they're the same people or not. Very long line involves the arrival on the moon of an American scientific expedition team who discovers that Mars is inhabited by an underground dwelling but dying civilization that is humanoid. The Martians, suspicious of Earthlings' motives, majority of their governing body finally decides to keep their visitors prisoner, never allowing them to return home information that they've discovered. The Earthmen have symptoms among them. Soon a plan is set to smuggle scientists and their Martian allies aboard the guard spaceship, making an exit to Earth. First expedition to Mars is led by Dr. Lane, including Professor Jack, engineer and ship designer Jim Barker, his assistant, and of course Carol Stafford, who also makes coffee, but earned her degree in space engineering in only years, so she can make coffee quickly and an engineering degree. Journalist Steve Abbott, a decorated Korean war correspondent, is also aboard to cover the historic mission. They lose contact with Earth in a meteor storm to save both their landing gear and go. The crew are forced to decide whether to crash land on Mars or turn back to Earth. They decide to proceed with the mission, knowing they may never return. The president of the Planetary Council explains that their English language is from broadcast. Their own efforts, however, to transmit messages to Earth have only resulted in faint, unintelligible signals being received. Probably old-fang radio. The Earth crew are taken to a vast underground city which is being maintained by life support systems fueled by fictional material called Korean. I don't know where it is. There, the crew meet Tillamar, a past president of the Homeowners Association and now trusted council advisor. Tell us, a young Martian shows us to their room, and the crew automated meals. Edition members are amazed at the high level of technology around them and soon ask the council for help with repairing their spaceship. Discreetly on the plea, he recommends that the Earthmen's spaceship, once repaired, be reproduced, thereby creating a fleet evacuate the Martians to Earth, thereby saving the Martian species, is also enslaving the Terran species. Why not? Council votes to adopt Icon's plan, who also decide to hold the Earthmen captive during the repair process. Alita, a leading Martian scientist, is placed in charge of the spaceship. Icon uses Terrace as a way to keep him informed of progress. Meanwhile, Jim begins to suspect the Martians' motives, and it was
Health fakes an explosion of slowing the repairs, and later announces their blast off for Earth is set for the next day. He surprises everyone with the news that Tomar and Alita are joining them with Alita because wife. Of course, there's this behavior to Akron, Alita and Tomar being held, but Jim foils Akron's plan to seize their ship after freeing both. Brief confrontation with the Martian guards and the spaceship's gangway, and the three make it aboard safely, and the expedition departs for the end. Yeah, it was that great. Okay, here's the part where you come in. You heard that wonderful dissertation. You may have actually sat through that film. I actually fell asleep 2 or 3 times during it, so I have faulty memory in this film, so you're going to have to help me a little bit remember or explain some of the more intricate parts, whatever those might be. So, I'm going to do this to take turns. After that, we're going to talk about the plot. First round, we'll talk about the characterizations and how great all these people and actors were in the movie. And then the third round, if we get that far, will be special effects, music, anything you want to talk about, something you may have missed on the first 2 rounds. So, I'll go ahead and take check-ins and ends now. If you'd like to join us this evening, come with your call sign and your name. And did you see this film? What is it called? Flight to Mars from 1951. Here we go.
November 5, Bravo. Yes, I saw the film.
April 5, Oscar Zuma, Brenda Dallas. Yes, I saw me.
We picked up 2. We got M5BBB Bill over in Irving. Blue, he said, yep. He fought in WBB, follows it. Brenda, she's over in this. Yeah, she's out of this. Take additional chance. Hopefully there'll be other stragglers and they may come along. Anyone else to join us, please come with your call and your name. And did you see tonight's move, Flight to Mars from 1951? Well, kids, this will be a short one this evening, and I really mean maybe a short one this evening because I don't have anybody on Encholink either except for Tony there, but he has checked in. Let's see what happens. We'll go ahead and start with Bill, and maybe at the bottom of the list we can pick up some more. So, Bill, tell us, what you think about the plot? Take all the time you want, because this is going to probably be a very short minute. But please go ahead. What do you think?
Man, this is in BB. Well, if you're just tuning in, Afterglow was moved over to this rear tonight because he's on the 8 repeater. And the movie is Flight to Mars, a 1951 color science fiction film. Probably one of the earlier reasonable color films. What did I think about the movie? It was watchable. It was corny. There were a lot of things in it as far as plot, which were very, very bad, scientifically. I think it was mainly a venue for them to find some way of showing the women in these short ski outfits. That's what I think. I think that was the main purpose of the film. Other things about the plot, I felt very, very unlikely. They get on spaceship Mars during the flight. Barker and Carol Stafford become kind of separated, I say, and Steve Abb takes over for him. And then while they're on Mars, it's all completed, and Jim Barker's announced he's bringing Alita back to Earth. This is all very unlikely. This is not things happen in the world. You think these people would change their alliances that rarely? I just don't believe. They don't make any attempts to explain why the Martians look exactly like Earthlings. Exactly. They don't make any attempt to explain where they came from. And obviously they didn't. They were originally under the surface of Mars. Were originally on the surface, underground. I don't. That was really explained. So a lot of things about it were just given as facts and not explained. Scientifically, a lot of things were unexplained. That's true in a lot of the science fiction movies. This one was just pretty serious that way. Other thing that bothered me about the plot is when they're in their spacecraft going to Mars. All these comments out when the spaceship is in horizontal flight about the gray and magnetic fields and other goofy things. Doesn't make any sense at all. They didn't really explain why we had Earth gravity on spacecraft. And on Mars, there was no really explanation why they can handle the very low pressure there. Of course, maybe we didn't really know much about the vapor pressure of Mars in 1951. So maybe we can, we can kind of excuse that thing about their minimal respirators and 5BB. Let's see, what else? Another thing in general about the plot that unfortunately movies, especially the early ones sometimes, is after the apparent kind of revolution of the action, the film is. They get in the spacecraft, take off in space, the film is. We don't hear what happened. And as far as the ongoing, plan, this is lost. Maybe they intended to have another movie, Return to Mars, or something that was going back to Mars, but they never made the movie, maybe. Or maybe they did, and we just don't know about it. Anyway, I guess that's my initial thoughts. In fact, maybe.
Thank you, Bill. This is KE5ICX. I agree with you on that. I'm going to expand upon a little bit. Self. Up is Brenda, WB50ZL. Brenda, your thoughts on our plot for our fine film, Flight to Mars from 1951.
This is WB50ZL. I'm not agreeing with this movie. I'll tell you, I thought the plot kind of insipid. A lot of stuff wasn't explained. Why this secret launch? We've never done that in real life. And, they into space, please. And, a lot of stuff isn't explained. It just didn't have the look and feel of a real space flight. They didn't make proper predictions. They didn't seem to know what they were doing. And they get Mars, and then they just walk on outside. So, with the little football helmets on, little leather helmets, cute. So, yeah, humans on Mars. And the only solution to their dwindling resources is let's take over Earth, which I think would be a little bit hard to. It would be so much better if they told the Earth people, finally here, can we go to your planet? We're going to here. And then the Earth people would have been glad to take them in, I think, is a humanitarian aid. And then everybody lived happily after. But they didn't. They're going to take over. Taking Earth is such a common sci-fi theme, so overdone. Okay, back to Net V50ZL.
All right, thank you, Brenda. I agree with you on all points. Okay, we're at the bottom of the list talking about flight to Mars from 1951. Let's see if we have any stragglers that have gone on frequencies and discovered us. So if you are out there and would like to check in, you don't have to have actually seen the film, but if you have, we'd like to know if you have. We're talking about nice flight to Mars from 1950. If you'd like to join us, yes, please come with your sign, your name, where you're, and did you film? Maybe not. I do see Sean over on an Echolink B9SOK, usually a regular contributor. Sean, you can transmit this frequency, so if you'd like to join us, come. He's asking me what is the offset. It's the same, what is it? Offset is the same. It's going to be a negative offset. So your frequency transmit 46.360, and this repeater also has a tone of 110.9. You can also use the link if you'd like. I think Sean's over at work, so maybe just too far. All this repeater has pretty good coverage. We'll see. I'll come back in a little, and I'll go ahead and give my tooth on this one. Yeah, of course I fell asleep during the movie because this film is set from another motion picture, if I remember correctly. I read this correctly, so the sets themselves look pretty good. But there's very little above and beyond that, special effects-wise. So there's a lot of position seems to take the place of action and other things that happen because it's cheaper that way. And it just went on and on and on and on and on. It really did sound like a owners association meeting by the time when it was all over. And they did have some of the ridiculous costumes, which I never really understood. Very, very weird. But I think back then most of these films were sort of on the idea of kids are going to go see that matinees. There was no much in the way of shoot 'em ups or laser guns or any of that. It was just kind of boring to me overall. And Bill brought up a really good point, and I thought was interesting, and happy with the fact of why don't we in Origins or discuss how they used to get here? Could they have been like that Lost Tribe thing like they did on Battlestar Galactica, and they want to return home, and how did that work out, and what would people say? I mean, there could be a more complex interaction here than simply we're going to invade and take over. I mean, that's so elemental, but it is 1951, so I guess that may have been all they could think of at the time. I always think about the Ray Bradbury's, which about Mars, all those different short stories that were made up in the book. I can't remember the book right now, but really great stuff. Lots of interesting, in-depth character situations and cultural considerations and colonization colonies and things like that. Million things you could do that would have made the story much more interesting than what it was. I'm not sure. I wasn't around 1951, so I can't tell you. Maybe I have a feeling that because production and intended audience in recent years, 90% of everything's graphic. Your surgeon once said that even the 10% come out and shine, and there should have been something here that could have really made this story better than what it was. I think I can say is that the color was reasonably okay. Although Tony mentioned earlier this evening, he didn't think it was all that great. But I thought it held pretty well with the version that I was watching on YouTube. So I don't know. Okay. Let me ask again if anyone else would like to check in at this point. Please come now with your call sign, name, and did you see the film? Okay, I got an update from Sean. He's still having problems transmitting. Well, Sean, I'm sorry. You're having trouble. We didn't know this was going to happen. Just we appreciate the Dallas County REACT folks for allowing us to use the repeater this evening so we could salvage our night of nets. Okay, well, we'll go to the top of the list again. We'll talk about acting in this fine film and the characters. And so, Bill, N5BB, go right ahead.
Okay, Tom, this is N5BB. Well, I would say the acting was not completely horrible. I think I kind of believed all of the characters. So I think the acting itself not horrible. It was okay. Let's just put it that way. As far as the characterization, like I said early, as I mentioned earlier, I thought they were over the top. So all these romantic relationships were changing so rapidly, and during scientific mission were just unbelievable that way. I mean, that wasn't reasonable at all. So that characterization of those characters were faulty. Oh, now I think it's finished. This is in DB. And women were all, it's kind of interesting, all smart or very crafty or, like spy, terrorists. And the other were all smart, but all beautiful and dressed up in these, beautiful costumes with that were very revealing. So, they were they were characterized as smart sex objects. I mean, what do you say about this? They go to Mars and find all these Martian women dressed up in these, sexy uniforms that look like they directly from Playboy bunnies or something. In BB, continuing. I thought it was weird that Steve Abbott, the journalist, would go. They seem to take some of these people with very little advance notice. I kind of understood why they acted like it was a secret until right before they left the Earth, because this is right after World War II. This is in fact before the Korean War, and we were in a very big Cold War with the Soviet Union. We just come off a hot war with Germany and Japan, Nazis, and so people were here with a lot of very secret things. I mean, the atomic bomb project was super secret, and all those kind of things. So I believe that they put in here the fact the military generals were running this program, and that they would keep it secret to the last minute. Nearly. I really thought. Well, I'll leave this later. Let's see. Anything else here? Characterization. It was a little weird to think about these Martians, Tilmar and Alita, willing to come back to the. Again, this is one of the most severe weird characterizations. Alita, after apparently barely him for a short amount of time, agreed to marry. I guess they had marriage on Mars. Jim Barker, and come back with him to Earth, which is just a pretty wild thing to decide on such short notice. So that's kind of weird about the characterizations. My final comments last round. Identify BB. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bill. I'll, of course, reserve my comments for later, but I also have some observations. Brenda, WB550Z, please go ahead. What do you think about characterizations in the act in our fine film this evening?
This is WB550Z. The common complaint that I often have is like all characters respond. I did have that problem here. Too much similarity in a lot of these people, and then there wasn't enough, in my opinion, to distinguish them from each other either. It's just a typical opera. The story did not me very much at all, and the actors were okay for what they were. This wasn't any great acting job by any means. So I just wasn't not a big fan. It was okay. In 1950, I probably liked it a lot because it went space. How cool is that? But lots of things wrong with it. And I know the movie's not going well, so I keep hoping they all die or get eaten monsters or something. There needs to be a Mars monster to come and detach a few of them. Okay, back to Daddy. Be fellows at L.
Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, I know it's pretty hard to just extend out, discuss these characters when they're so. Some of you call sign. Did you see Flight to Mars from 1951? Hearing none, let me go ahead and thank again W5 the Dallas County REACT folks for allowing us to use the repeater W5DCR this evening. As the RCC Big 88 said down. Apparently, we don't know what's wrong. It suddenly had up this evening, so they were gracious enough to offer the repeater this evening and allow us to move over here and do 9 and net. So thank you. Guys, I really appreciate that very much. Okay, my comments on this. Characterization, well, if Tony were here, can you interchange the characters? The answer is most definitely yes, which means then the characters have no definition. Bill mentioned the fact that the women were crafty. Yes, that seems to be something that they want to insert into the film, and also make sure they were in the shortest possible. So there was that element to keep guys interested in the film, and probably the adolescent kids that went to go see the film with their dates. That would be my guess for 1951. Probably at a drive-in. Who else? Where else would go in an evening, on a Saturday evening, right? But maybe the dance. One thing, and this is probably because of the style that you would see in films back in the 50s and maybe even in the 40s, is the loud projection. That would be an approach to everything where every sentence is a major statement. Everything's a speech, and everyone is visibly moved by every action, reaction, comment, and counter-comment, and all of this. Very much stagey, very over-the-top, as mentioned. And I guess that's okay, and it probably would be back in the day, but I don't know, it's just where's on you, especially when the script itself is so blatantly stereotypic delivered and manufactured. I don't know what else to say. I guess they acted what they could based on what they had. Again, what Tony said, I really don't have anything that any stand-out things that were going on. Yes, the romancing was a bit odd, but I think that was again targeting our audience that would be watching the film in the drive-in. Maybe that's what was the ultimate plan, but I don't know. By the way, this movie, I'm reading on the production notes here, it says a low-budget quickie. It was shot in just 5 days. It sure felt longer than that while watching the film, but what do I know? By the way, just fill in the blank. This will be in the next round. I'll go ahead and talk about productions for anyone else can do coming up. So let me go ahead and start at the top of the list again. This would be Bill, N5BB. You can talk about special effects, anything you want about the film. Please do. E5ICX.
Thank you, Tom. This is N5BB. For those listening, this is the Afterglow net moved over here because the repeater was acting up. We're talking about Flight to Mars, a 1951 color science fiction film. And real color for a 1951 film, I would say. Production, well, it's interesting. This film has a lot of plot similarities, not the whole film, but plot points, little pieces of the plot and things that seem to have been pulled from a Soviet silent film made in 1924, Alita, Queen of Mars. And that Alita spelled Aelita. And in this film is supposedly spelled Alita, I think. But what do we know? Because we didn't see it printed out. So they create her name and the fact that she was somebody to come back to Earth, Mars. I mean, it wasn't a copy of the whole plot, but there's some plot items taken from that 1921 Soviet silent. Also, this film, as Tom said, was supposedly filmed in 5 days, in 5 BBB. Him 1950 silent film. Lloyd Bridges was in that film, the famous actor. And so they changed a little bit, but the basic rock structure on the insides came from rocket ship XM the previous year. Of course, as in all films of this time frame, they show things like gravity and meteors and things in a very unscientific manner in 5BB. So they show these red meteor. I think they call them meteorites, even though we know that they're not meteorites till they enter the atmosphere. And they show them headed toward the Earth, and they had to go around them, and they damage their spacecraft. They were glowing bright red. No. Bad ants. They wouldn't have known that back then. They just want something they could show easily outside guests. Let's see, what else? I thought it was interesting they're sending, I guess they didn't trust their radio systems. You got to remember, in 1951, we had barely sent rockets up, 50 miles in the air, and of course it was years before their satellites that went around the Earth. So they were really unsure about the radio communication out there. So lost radio communication, had to send these little tubes back to Earth. And I thought that was really weird, this little thing putting in the tube. I can't imagine how that would, how would a guidance system make it back to Earth. Very unlikely. What else? Of course, this is a big powered rocket. Isn't that okay? Of course, they have to make up something called the element, this mineral on Mars, which provided their power. And I guess that's it. In 5BB, I am finished.
Oh, not finished this film, Bill, but okay. Next up is Brenda, WB5ZL. Your thoughts on characterization? I'm sorry, beyond that, we're talking about anything else, special effects, the music, anything you want from KEV5 Ice.
This is WB5ZL. I don't remember the music. I don't know if that means it was good or that it wasn't good. Boy, I sure didn't like the design of the spaceship. Those office chairs were just awful. And, you just lie down on a cot while the spaceship takes off by itself. I don't know. This sure looked like a 1950s movie. I was going to say. It was just dumb. The cardboard sets, the recycled electronics, and all that. But they were short budget, and it was 1950, so. I guess it could be worse. Okay, back to that WB50 Citadel.
Wow, that was short. Well, I'm not even about to bother adding else. Well, we'll see what happens. But at any rate, my thoughts on the film, special effects. One thing in there that I thought quite interesting. Bill mentioned it, but didn't elaborate beyond just the mystical, magical part. But I thought it was quite amazing that you had to climb up to the control room, or what do you want to call the head of the rocket, through this ladder, right? And that's when the rocket is vertical. But when they're traveling horizontally in space, because apparently you can travel horizontally in space, there's a side tube that you climb through, and indeed people came out of that tube. Okay, I guess it confused the hell out of people to realize that there's no up or down in space, so they just simply said you just go through this side hatch that I guess out into space or something. I don't know. I could quite figure any of that. What happens when the rocket's moving at sort of a diagonal? They have a diagonal too. They could use one of those, I suppose. Never heard or seen that kind of thing happen before. But I will tell you this: you watch 2001: Space Odyssey, or 20, they have the same thing. You may recall that they went into the pod bay. There was this side door that came sort of out of the side, like in this movie. Even though that is superior in every single way, it did share this weirdness. Not because it was horizontal, but because it had this entrance that looked great. It didn't fit logically with the physical dimensions of the spacecraft. So this one, of course, had that too, but less credibility. I don't know. Overall, it was kind of interesting. Bill did mention the recycled sets from rocket ship XM or RM, and I think there was another film listed in here. Those films are in black and white. This one, of course, was color. So that's why the spacecraft looked okay overall, except for the weirdness that they added to it. But it didn't get very far. What happened when they went back to Earth or whatever, we don't know. But there was a sequel proposed called Voyage to Venus that was never made. So they kind of have a sequel if they could. Okay, that's all I've got, I guess, on this round. Now I'm doing the 3 rounds, so this is going to be record time for 45 minutes, I think. But I'll go ahead and open it up. Anybody got any additional comments or any late check-ins? Please come now with your call.
Five BB.
Hey, Bill, go ahead.
Yes, Tom. Yeah, as you alluded there in that last comment you made, they take off from Mars, and the movie just ends. And, I think they had a little low budget, and they wanted to get this thing over with. And so they didn't bother trying to come up with the plot line or the props or anything for them landing back on Earth and them, talking to the Earthlings of how we could work Mars and all that kind of stuff. No. They chopped it off there. So that was a little bit, like you say, if they made another film, it would be kind of more interesting. But no, just kind of chopped it off there. They could have made it a little bit longer, another 5 minutes just to add a little, but no. I don't think this thing was driven by the budget. If you're on Mars, the views of Mars in the background was very poor quality, washed out watercolor looking vague painting. It was very bad. So I didn't really think I was on Mars. I was on a movie set that was 1951. So they didn't really make an effort with that, and make much of an effort with the outside views from space, or like you say, the spacecraft itself was pretty basic. It There's a tube they crawled in with some hatches in weird directions. So it's surprising that little amount of equipment could have gotten them there. And as somebody else commented, I guess Brenda must be the other person here. The little old football helmets, the little leather helmets from the 1850s, they put on useless. I mean, I don't know what that would have done. They weren't good as football helmets, really, and they really weren't good as spacecraft. Those little leather things they pulled over their heads. Anyway, I got me. They think they could have at least come up with some kind of space helmet. I mean, the Martians had these helmets. Why couldn't the Earthlings have space? Baby?
No problem, Bill. That's fine. And yeah, those comments. So why not, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what next week's movie is. This is something different. Actually, got this from one of the guys I work with at work. He recommended Rod Serling written a teleplay called Carol for Another Christmas. So yes, this one has a retelling of the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol from 1843. It's a modern slant, if you will, with Rod Serling at the helm. It's also, who is it? I forgot the guy's here. Hold on. The Joseph Mankiewicz story. He did a ton of movies back in the 20s and 30s, including and 40s for that matter. So his more popular movies were Philadelphia Story, Worry Woman of the Year, with Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. This particular film, which is a television production, and it's only television production, has Peter Sellers and Hayden Spearing in it, and a few others. But those are big headliners. I will send the information out tomorrow morning sometime so you can take a look at and watch the film. It's available on arc.org. It's free in public domain. So feel free to watch it. I think it's interesting. This will be the Christmas Eve. So the eve of Christmas Eve, I believe. So next week at this time. Hopefully we'll be back on the other repeat by then. We'll see. But again, I want to thank especially this evening the County REACT folks for allowing us to use their repeater W5D this evening. Most appreciated, and it gave our Christmas, our pre-Christmas for tonight and our night events. So say 7th, everybody. Have a good evening, and you get to retire a little bit early. I know I'm going to. See y'all later. This is KE556, and now clear. Thank you, everybody.
You, Tom. I had a bad the last couple of days. I need more beauty. I slept a lot. Need more. I took a home COVID test and it was negative. So it's just one of these really bad colds. 73 and 5 BB clear. I am dribbling mucus.
I just comment, Bill. Yeah, you had your announcer voice that usually sounded like you were under the you had something, but you get that little slightly lowered announcer's voice. Okay, see you later. KUP5IC.